Hello, it's Dr. Adam Sewell here, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 pillars of your aesthetics practice. And this is really important for a lot of reasons, but the main thing is that today you will learn how to structure your aesthetics practice. There's 2 parts of your practice of aesthetics. There's the part that is the actual doing the work or the clinical skills, but then there's another part that's even more critical, which is actually the business aspects of your practice. And so today we're going to talk about how to structure that, what pillars you need to have in place to make sure that your business of your aesthetics practice does well. So there's 5 pillars of the aesthetic practice, and we'll go into each of these in detail and give you an example. But from a very high level point of view, here they are here. They are lead generation, lead nurture, conversion, fulfillment, and ascension. And don't worry if you don't understand all of them yet. Like I said, we're going to define each of them and kind of walk through and give you an example. So the first part of any kind of practice that you want to build is a lead generation system. Lead generation is a process where you get potential customers to indicate that they're interested in what you have to offer or your general market. The goal here is to give them something of value in return for their contact information so that you can follow up with them and provide them more information. And why this is important is because in every market, there is what's called a buyer's pyramid. And as you can see here on the screen, the pyramid is made up of all the different buyers that are in any kind of market and their percentage of the likely percentage that they would buy from you. So in general, in any market at any given time, whether it's cars, whether it's pillows, whether it's aesthetics, whatever it is, only 3% of the market is ready to buy right now. Another 6 to 7% is open to it, but haven't really thought about it. And then another 30% is not thinking about it at all, and it's kind of coming out of the blue to them. The other 60% are those that don't think they're interested, and 30% of those that they know 100% they're not interested. These 30% are the people that will never buy no matter what. And so we kind of just want to walk through here because I want you to see that if you're only making offers to people that are willing to go right now, you're only getting 3% of that market. There's another 37% of the market that would be happy to buy from you if they could just get to know a little bit more information about you. And so that's the whole purpose of lead generation, is to identify all of these people, the 3% and the other 37%, and get their information so we can start to build a relationship with them, because that relationship will in the future lead to doing business together. So here's some great examples. These are all real life examples pulled directly from Facebook of lead generation, things that are happening right now in the aesthetic industry. These were pulled just a few days ago, and basically you can see here, this is a lead generation where they're going to give away a $250 voucher. Basically to get 25 units of Xeomin or Botox. Here's another lead generation piece where they're going to give you a 7 steps to skincare ebook. If you press download now and give them your information and apparently pay $7, you'll get this little book. And then here's another lead generation where they're giving away $500 gift cards toward the purchase of whatever that is. So some kind of body contouring technology. So you can see here, these are just examples of lead generation that are happening right now. And the whole goal is to give people something to get their information, because you know that if you can nurture these people, you can get a lot of buyers. All right, then let's talk about the nurture process. So the whole point of lead generation is to get people to identify that they're interested, maybe somebody you want to talk to, maybe somebody wants some more information. But how do we go and take that and build that into a relationship, which we can later build into a customer? The nurture process is where you provide value by helping those people that have identified themselves in the lead generation step. You want to give them something of value, and usually you want to educate them, let them know more about the subject matter that they're interested in. But also you kind of have to balance that with a little bit of entertainment. If it's just pure, kind of planned information, people are not so interested in that. You want to think in terms of edutainment, if you will, but offering education, but also a little bit of entertainment. And what happens is they get to see your expertise because you're teaching them, but they also kind of get to know you and build a relationship with you online. So a couple things to remember is that nurture process can be done over multiple channels. The classic nurture process is usually done through email. So usually, someone says, hey, I'd like to get a gift card or a $250 voucher. You get their email, and then you send them a series of emails kind of educating them about the different things you do, or whatever that the gift card's about, why it's so good, what that product does, what it's done before and afters, who you are, why they should come see you, etc. You can also nurture people over Facebook, though, which is pretty interesting, and it's also quite effective, by the way. You can nurture people through Instagram as well, and SMS messaging is a great way to do that because it's such great open rates, and we'll talk about that later. And also just through normal mail, also known as direct mail, like sending people letters in their mailbox. So here's a classic nurture example that came from my friend Annie Grace. This is a nurture she sends out just all the time. I get emails from her every day, basically, or every couple days. And she just talks about things that, may be applicable to you if you're interested in what she is selling. For Annie Grace, she has a thing called This Naked Mind, which is a book about basically not having to, basically not drinking so much, rather than saying like, hey, some people are alcoholics, some people are not, but there's a big chunk of the group of people that kind of drink too heavily and they don't want to stop. And so that's what she does, is she offers that information to them. But you can see this is a perfect nurture. And the reason why I took a picture of it is because it came right before Super Bowl. And it was her tips for having a great game day without alcohol, which, if you're somebody who's maybe not trying to drink as much, or, want to cut down or whatever, this might be really useful information for you, Here's some other examples that we use for nurture. This is a video of me talking about the knee. This is a video of a patient that I treated and how he got better. But these are actually Facebook nurtures. And so what we do is, through advanced technology, we can identify people who have already said, hey, I'm interested in the thing. And then we send them these things to watch on Facebook and nurture them that way. So they start to build that relationship with you. They get to know you. They get those questions answered, and it brings them more into the chance of becoming one of your customers or patients. And why is having a nurture process critical for your business? Well, the reason why is because people do business with people or brands that they know, they like, and they trust. And this is really critical. So, realize just even yourself, if someone came up to you and said, hey, you don't know me, but here's a really great deal on a car, even if you thought it was a great deal, you may not know this person, so you would likely be hesitant to, buy that thing from them. You may not like them. Maybe they seem sketchy. Maybe it seems like it's a trick, and you don't likely have any trust in them. So you kind of have to get to know them better before you trust them enough to give them money for a car that may not be what the guy says it is, So just remember, we're building these three things in the nurture process: getting to know you, getting to like you, and getting to trust you. So the question then becomes, how to become known, liked, and trust in an easy way that would help you. So number one is, always being top of mind. So by having just a nurture process in place, you are contacting your lead many, many times. And the research shows that somewhere there's a rule called the rule of 7 in marketing. And it was made a long time ago. And some people say that there's more than 7 required. But that rule used to be that it would take a lead 7 times to see something before they were even aware of it. So for example, if you were advertising, Dawn dish soap, a prospect or potential customer would have to see something about the Dawn dish soap 7 times before it would even come into their minds, or they would even be aware of the Dawn dish soap. It's the same kind of deal now. People are just bombarded with information. They're bombarded with, videos and social media, etc. So by having constant communication and educating these people, you become top of mind. And that's the first step to really becoming known. The other thing is that people naturally want to know more about you as a person and what you have to offer. And a lot of people are kind of shy about this, thinking that they're trying to sell people. But the reality is that, people love to know more about who they're connecting with and what they have to do. And so by having, a nurture process, you can also introduce a little bit of your personality, who you are, what you stand for, etc. And many times that drives more people to your practice than anything else, because people like to do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. And so if they like you and they know who you are, chances are they'll trust you as well. Always tell your story. So whenever we build nurture campaigns, we kind of, built all these things in, But one of the things we always do is we tell the story of the business. Why was it built? What is it there to do? What makes it different than the other businesses? Why should you care? Telling your story really helps people connect with you on a purpose, level, and people really can kind of, group around that. The next thing, which is incredibly effective, is customer testimonials. Roughly 80% of people online trust testimonial reviews the same as they would trust a close friend, which is crazy. But the thing is that is the way the world works. This has been validated multiple times. So by having reviews, by having testimonials that you can send to people, it really helps them begin that trust process, because they can see other people saw you, other people did things with you, and they had good results. So you kind of help overcome that barrier. And then trust, of course, is really critical. But, especially when you're asking for somebody to buy something, we've all been scammed or have had, things that were presented one way and they weren't really that way. And so, the trust is something that's really critical to build. And, just by them kind of getting to know you, by seeing your emails, by seeing your ads, by seeing your messages, etc., they get familiarity. You demonstrate your value by telling them who you are and your story. And then you give them examples of other people you helped. And that really builds trust. And then now when they come to see you, they're not seeing somebody they've never met before. They're not seeing somebody that they don't know anything about. It becomes so much easier because they feel like they've known you, because you've demonstrated who you are to them using a technology that in an automated way. So you didn't have to spend a lot of time, but they know you. You've kind of built a relationship with them already. All right. The next pillar of the aesthetics practice is conversion. And conversion could be called sales, conversion. It's basically the process where you take somebody who's interested, you've nurtured them, they're ready to go. Maybe they come in to see you in your clinic, you do an assessment on them, you talk to them. But the whole goal of the conversion process is really a sales process to take somebody from being what's known as a prospect, somebody who's interested in receiving information, into somebody who is a customer, meaning somebody who's paid you for something. And converting prospects into customers really is the heart of all business, isn't it? Getting patients, getting customers. And so the conversion process is basically where you want to take it to the next level and get them to purchase a product or service from you. So basically conversion, in a fancy way of just saying, it's an exchange of money for value. Basically you're doing some kind of service, people are paying you for it, and you're happy to collect that because you're helping people. The next part, or the next pillar of the aesthetics practice, is fulfillment. A lot of people kind of miss this part because they're so focused on getting new patients, getting new customers, they kind of forget about these last two. But fulfillment is a process where you provide value to the customer and give them what they purchased in a good, reliable manner with excellent service. And so just to give you an example of a good fulfillment process would be something like this. Maybe somebody requests to have an aesthetic procedure done. Part of your fulfillment process may be that you give them some kind of facial or whatever. You give them a salt facial, give them, just a hot towel, whatever it is, clean up their face, which you got to do anyway, but you make it into a great experience. You do the procedure with them. Then at the end, you talk about skincare you can offer them. Maybe you give them a little bag of samples to try that are directly linked to your procedure. And then you follow up with a thank you note. If anybody who's ever had an aesthetic procedure, you've gone through that process. If you went through these steps like this, I think what you'd find is that you'd be felt like you were treated very, very well. You would be felt you really paid attention to, and that you will have bonded with that person. And the key here for everybody who's watching this video is that initially when you first start your practice, it's just you. And so you're doing all of this. But it's really important that you build these into systems that can be done automatically without you there, or can be done so automatically that even if you were totally tired, like you've been up all night on call, the reason why we prepare things right in the OR for anesthesia and we have syringes and stuff ready is because, hey, we might wake up at 3 a.m. and have to do a case, and we don't want to be scrambling around for that. It's the same kind of deal with your fulfillment process. You want to have a process that's already documented, it's already in place. You do the same for everybody, and there's the systems in place to take care of these things. And so having that fulfillment process takes a huge load off your mind to make sure you're delivering excellent results every time. And when you know you're delivering excellent results to customers, you get a sense of surety and a sense of security that you can transmit to them when you talk to them and say, look, I have this process that I use to give you the best result. And it's this. And it gives you that kind of authority and confidence that helps you also in the conversion process or selling. And then finally, the last pillar, which is probably the most overlooked pillar, is ascension. It can be called many different things, but ascension is basically the process where your customers naturally continue to buy more products and services from you at higher levels because they've found that you've done a good job for them. And the goal here is to give them options to continue to do business with you. A lot of people forget that with ascension, there's so many things that you can offer. But the primary question to ask is, what is the next level of service you can provide for them? So, for example, if someone is coming in for Botox, could they also benefit from filler? Could they also benefit from PRP treatments? Could they also benefit from skincare? These are all ways to ascend somebody from one purchase to the next purchase. And when you do that, not only do you become a better customer for you and you make more money and it helps grow your business, but for them, it makes their life easier because they don't have to go somewhere else to find skincare because you recommended it. They don't have to go somewhere else to get a PRP treatment because you offer it. They are more, kind of committed to you, and you are doing a better job of taking care of them. And so it's a beautiful win-win situation for everybody involved. So what else are they currently buying that you could provide? This is a great question that you can always ask because many times you'll find that people that are coming to you for one thing are also buying other things in the same vein. So for example, one of our clinics, we noticed there's a lot of people coming in for arthritis pain. And so one of the things that we noticed is that they came in for arthritis pain, but a big percentage of these people were also buying over-the-counter CBD lotions. They were buying over-the-counter pain relievers and analgesics. They were buying braces, etc. And like all of these things were things that we could offer, and we added those to our offering. It made it easier for the customers. The customers were happier. We made sure that all of those things actually worked and they aligned with what we were already doing to treat them. And it really helped add value to them and also added value to us. So what do they buy before or after your service? So for example, do they get a facial before? Do they do nails? Is there a way that you could do a partnership with somebody who offers facials or does nails or hair, etc.? What purchases happen around the same time as your service? Do they go on vacation? Is it, people want to get body contouring usually for a reason. And if they're getting body contouring like cool sculpting or whatever, it might be because they have a vacation planned. They're going to have sun exposure. Do we need to sell them, SPF blockers, etc.? Those are all things that you can do to help increase, the ascension and help your customer more. So here's just a small example of an ascension model. And so this is not related just to aesthetics, but take, for example, this, where you have a lead magnet. You give them something that's, a checklist, a guide, a video, free sample, trial, whatever. You give them something for free to get their information. Then you offer them something really low cost, so it's not risky for them. They buy it from you, they get value. And then, you start to offer them more and more expensive things because now they get to kind of know you and they know that, hey, this guy gave me something good of value for free. Now I was able to buy something, it was really worth it. And then I bought another thing that was really worth it. Well, now they're more likely to buy more expensive things as well for you because, they're getting to know you and they're getting to trust you. So the classic ascension model for a med spa kind of follows like this. And this is, a lot of people kind of forget this step, but basically skincare is a great gateway into med spa customers. So by getting people to purchase skincare or use skincare, many times the cost of skincare is less than $200, which is a very, we consider low ticket. And so it's not a high risk for the people to try these things. They could spend $200 at Sephora, So it's not a big deal for them to try, some, medical grade skincare from you. And then they get to kind of know you. And if the skincare does what you said it does, then, they get to trust you. And then you may offer them Botox and then dermal fillers and then maybe some more other things like, for example, therapy. You can also do threads or whatever beyond that. But do you see how you kind of start somewhere and then you start to work your way up into the not only the price, but also the value that the customer is getting. And all this is circulating around those three factors, which is they know you, they like you, and they trust you. So to quickly review, there's 5 pillars of any aesthetic practice that you got to build in, and it's really of any medical practice. The lead generation, getting somebody to raise their hand and say, hey, they're interested. Nurture, where you educate them and entertain them, letting them to kind of get to know you, get to know what you're about. Conversion, where you basically talk to them, give them a plan, then they convert and become a customer of yours or a patient of yours. Fulfillment, where you have a process where you fulfill what they purchased and make sure that you have excellent service and a great experience for the customer or patient. And then ascension, where you have a process where you ascend them into other things. So for example, if someone came in for Botox, they should ideally get information about dermal fillers and PRP treatments, etc., because it's the next level for them to treat. So your primary goal is to build these into your practice. That's kind of the main thing. But perhaps a better goal would be, wouldn't it be nice to build these same pillars into your practice using a proven blueprint and an automated system to track and assist each pillar? So, for example, these 3 pillars here actually are what is getting more new patients. Getting more new patients is really the crux of any business or any practice, but particularly aesthetics practices, because they literally grow or die based on the number of patients they get. So basically what I want you to do next is to go and remember these steps, but then watch this next video, which is 4 easy ways to increase your new patients without hiring more staff or discounting prices. And this video will show you the next ways and the next steps that you can do to get people into your practice. And the reason why I want you to do this is because you need to have channels open so patients can flow in, to your practice. These are channels of water here. Just the same way that we have these channels that allow water into an area, you need to have channels that allow patients into your area, into your practice. And you need to have things that you can refer to help people get in. And so by following that with that training, I think what you'll find is that will help you get that and build these channels, which are critical to grow your practice and to get more new patients in. So that's kind of the end of this presentation. And then just remember, again, please go to watch the 4 easy ways to increase new patients without having to hire more staff, without having to discount your prices. And this is the next place to go, because once you're able to get new patients in, then you'll find that your life will become much easier. So thank you. This is Dr. Adam Sewell signing off. I hope this was useful for you, and give us a comment or send us a message if you have any questions.